Inravio.com.
Five on Racing Show. Welcome to another night of Race Talk. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, I guess. But you know, one of the things I want to start off with, there's so much negativity in racing, and sometimes it comes out, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it gets blown out of proportion. And one of the things that upsets me with news media, social media, people walking around, the fence grabbers, they never talk about the good stuff. And you know, I was scrolling through the internet and social media, and I found this video, which we'll have some screenshots of it. We didn't get permission to use the video, but Dale Earnhardt Jr., he details a heartbreaking tradition he carried on from his dad, obviously Dale Sr. And the way this story goes, and I'm going to paraphrase it to the best of my ability, years ago, when his father, Dale Sr., was competing with his friend, a good friend, Darrell Waltrip, he noticed that Waltrip's wife was putting an index card of a Bible verse inside Darrell Waltrip's race car. As Stevie Waltrip explained, that she always did this for DW, as he's known, so that he could look over at the Bible verse while he was racing to remind him that it's not totally in his control, and that the good Lord above has his watchful eye over him. Well, Dale Sr. says to Stevie Waltrip, "Where's mine?" Now, she didn't have another index card, so she ran to the hauler, got some duct tape, took a Sharpie, and wrote the Bible verse, and Dale Sr. taped it to his car. And from that point on, he always had a Bible verse as his good friend Darrell Waltrip. Now, their bond of friendship, although sometimes on the track didn't seem like it, but their bond of friendship was strong. And when Dale Jr. started racing, Stevie Waltrip carried on her tradition after Dale Sr. died in that horrific wreck in Daytona, and put a Bible verse on an index card in his race car as well. And Dale never really told anybody this. Dale Jr., he never told anybody this. This was a secret little thing, and what happened was his wife Amy went on Twitter and made it public. So Dale went on to talk about his index card and the Bible verse. And it was one of those things, it's a bond between the Waltrips and the Earnhardts that goes back many, many, many years. And Dale Jr. carried those verses, and he will carry those Bible verses on an index card in his race car right up to the end when he runs his last Monster Energy NASCAR Cup race at Homestead in November. Dale Jr. is inspired by these Bible verses. And those of us who are in this racing community, we all know, in fact, if you watch races on TV, the chaplain for that track or the local church or something always gives a little prayer, an invocation, so to speak, before the anthem and the gentlemen start, and drivers start your engines. And it's no different in the touring series. I've been a follower of the Racing with Jesus Ministries since I worked my first NASCAR touring event at the old Flemington Fairground Speedway in 2002. And ever since then, even to this day, if I'm on pit road assisting one of my teams or at a racetrack, I try to seek out one of the pastors or the reverend and do a little thing. And And it's funny because, you know, people look at race car drivers and they have this thing in their head about race car drivers, and, you know, that we're just a bunch of backwoods country bumpkins, you know, with grease under our fingernails, and that's so untrue. And I've talked about that over and over again, that you know, the money to race these things comes from somewhere, and we're not a bunch of country bumpkins. We're good, hardworking people who, some of us worked a little smarter, and some of us worked a little more, but we're people, and we have feelings, and we have goals and desires. And one of the things that I would do, and I didn't race with a Bible verse in my race car because I just didn't, but I did have the Racing with Jesus Ministries decal of the racer's prayer in my race car, and any race car that I owned thereafter, whether it was my daughter Jessica, or Brian Cicella, Randy Johnson, anybody that drove me had that in their race car. And I still, to this day, you know, we hug in prayer, because, you know, there's so many things, and you could be standing on pit road just sitting there watching and get run over and go meet your maker that day, as has happened many times, not only at the top level, but I can remember a time at the old ISIF Speedway during a modified all-star race where a driver's crew member was run over and ultimately died of his injuries. So you never know when your last moment is up, and whether you're a skier, a golfer, a boater, or just a hard-working person who goes to work every day, you never know. So you know, I always do that little prayer thing. And when I read that, I was touched by that. You know, everybody thinks that Dale Earnhardt Sr. is this rough, gruff, hard guy. You know, he'd spin out his mother if it meant gaining a spot on a racetrack. And maybe so, but the man had heart. The man was sensitive. If he liked you, he loved you. And if you needed something and he had it, you had it. So, like I said, I just wanted to share that with you because it was very touching when I was reading the story, and when I watched the video of this. It was one of those things that I was like, wow. And I don't wow easy, so I just wanted to share that with you. And if you want to find it and get the video yourself, if you go to Facebook and look up Country Rebel. Country Rebel is where I found it, and the video, it was there, so it's all good. Anyway, what do you got some racers now? Speaking of races, I was reading results and going through some of the stories, and then somebody posted in social media, can somebody tell me what the black flag means? And I know what it means, but I'm just gonna read the people what they think, and the black flag, and some of the things that people were saying. Obviously, they had no clue. And I was trying to figure out, why is somebody who's been in racing asking what the black flag rules? Well, I had to put my 2 cents in. Those who know me, I'm always throwing my 2 cents in. And I basically quoted the rule book, and basically this is what the black flag is in racing. It's considered a consultation flag. You're not disqualified at that moment. You're not disqualified. The black flag means go down pit road if the track has a pit road, or to the designated area that the officials have designated to be checked. It's a consultation. Maybe you're leaking something. Maybe you have a cut tire and it's getting ready to go flat. Maybe you have a flat. And you go to the designated area, whether it's down pit road, like I said, or some of the weekly racing series tracks, it's the infield. And the official in charge of that will check it out. And if you're good to go, you're good to go. If not, you're done. Now I heard, you know, when I was reading this, and I'm hearing people say, or reading people saying that, you know, you have 2 laps, you have 4 laps, you know, you have until the next caution. No. And here's how that works, folks. The tower, the race director, whoever, calls down to the flagman, post car 00, which means put the black flag out. In the weekly racing tracks, the tower will just come back and say, black flag to 22. And that's it. The next available time that you pass pit road, say that 3 times fast, or go to a safe spot to pull off the racetrack. It's then. It's not you got 2 laps. After 2 laps, they stop scoring you, and technically you're supposed to lose the laps when the black flag came out. So in my search, why is this person asked? They should know this. I found out there was a little bit of a discrepancy or a problem at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl. When the race ended in their SK type modifieds, 2 drivers went to the start-finish line thinking they're the champion. Now, they declared the driver who won the race the champion. The driver who felt he had enough points to win the championship protested the event right then and there, saying that based on the finish, that in those 2 laps from when the black flag was displayed to the time that he pulled off the racetrack, other cars had pulled off the track, which gave him enough points to win by 2 and not lose by 2 points, that is. And after a meeting, after reviewing the video, et cetera, Keith Rocco was declared the champion of the SK type cars at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl. And I was like, okay, so the rules at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl are not NASCAR. That track could have any rules they want. They could say the black flag comes out, you're disqualified. They could say you have 5 laps to adhere to the black flag. They could say and do whatever they want based on their track rules. So I read their track rules, and their track rules do say you have 2 laps, which I think is ridiculous because in a safety way, because let's say a car's spraying oil on a racetrack. Do you really want that car to be out there for 2 laps spraying oil and putting the other teams at jeopardy? I think not. You get the black flag, you're supposed to pull right off. And I've seen in tour races, in the K&M Pro Series and as well as the Modified Series, where the driver is not reading the black, they call it a black flag box. It's attached to the flag stand. So then you go by, you can look up when the black flag is waving, you see your number, and you're supposed to get off the track right after that. Some drivers don't look up there for whatever reason. They can't see it, they don't want to see it, they're running in too tight of a bunch, and that look for that 2 seconds could put them in harm's way. Then the black flag with the white cross in it means you're disqualified. Now, in my day of officiating, and whether it was at the local racetrack or it was on the tour, and I've had to do that, there were times that I black flagged or posted a team or a car to go down pit road to check something, and we let them go back. They don't get their spot back. They don't get anything back. They're eligible in the touring series for the free pass on the next caution if they are the first car a lap down. But that's what it's for. It's a safety thing. I mean, there was a driver at the local racetrack years ago who, back when the modifieds had the oil coolers hanging off the A-post of the race cars just above the exhaust, broke a line and was spraying oil. We black flagged the car, and this guy knew whatever he was going to fix was going to take a little while. Did a lap more on the inside, a lap more on the outside, leaving 2 trails of oil, 1 in, and it took forever to clean up. He got to the tail end of the pack when he was done. So the black flag, folks, and those who are involved in that conversation on social media, the way I posted it, the way I wrote it, is basically right out of the rule book, the NASCAR rule book. And with Keith Rocco being declared the champion at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl with that protest, I got to say that's for the first time ever in Connecticut racing history, a driver has won the championship at all 3 racetracks in Connecticut, the Thompson Motorsports Park, the Stafford Motor Speedway, and the New London Waterford Speed Bowl. And we'll be back.
Hey, what's... Oh, I was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hey, I wanted to touch base with everybody out there. And you don't have to be a racer. You don't have to be a race fan. You just have to be a human being. Ken Hagee, a local driver from Long Island who competes on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, had a tragedy at his shop. And his shop's not a normal shop. It's their business. It's the family business where it burned down last week. It took 80 firefighters to stop the blaze. And they lost a lot of equipment. They lost a lot of stuff for the business. He did not lose his Tour Modified, as everybody was questioning. And before I go any further, nobody was injured. Everybody was fine, but they lost everything that was in it. There is a GoFundMe page, and I don't normally do this, but there's a GoFundMe page to help Ken Hagee and his dad, also known as Grumpy, and it probably now clicks who his father is. Everybody calls him Grumpy. There's a GoFundMe page, and they're trying to raise funds to help the business. Yeah, there's insurance. The first time I said this, I was like, what about insurance? If you've ever lost your home or your business to a tragedy, the insurance is a joke. It doesn't cover your losses. It doesn't cover the time that you are out of business. It's just one of those things that, whatever you sign up for in your insurance is all you're going to get. There's the misconception that you get everything. And because the race car parts and equipment were in there, there was one car that does not use on a regular basis, does not use it on the tour, and another car that was in construction were lost. The insurance company is not going to pay for that either. So if you can go to, on Facebook, look up Ken Hagee, and see what you can do. It's a tragedy, and thank goodness it happened in the middle of the night because nobody was there working. I don't know what caused the fire. I don't know how it started, but it's a total loss. And the building's huge. For those of you who are on Long Island and you're on your way to the Riverhead Raceway in Riverhead, and you get off the expressway at the last exit onto Route 58, right before the gas station is a big building with trailers on the right. That's Hagee's. And it's gone. There's just some steel frame and some I-beams and a bunch of trash. So keep Kenny and his family and his dad in your prayers, and hopefully they can recover from this tragedy, because the same thing happened, I'm guessing about 10, 15 years ago to Roger Oxy when his shop in Peconic burned down. And not only did he lose all his tools and equipment, he lost his only race car and just about every trophy he ever won. And friends came in and helped Roger. I don't know how they did it. They replaced all his trophies. They got the car redone, and he went on to race again. And Ken Hagee will be racing again. Like I said, his primary car was at another shop. But this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy. And again, my heart goes out to the Hagee family and my fans out here. If you could find that on that site and go take a look. It's just not good. Anyway, what do we got? Upstate New York, Middletown, New York. Brett Hearn posted his 12th Eastern States 200 victory at the Orange County Fair Speedway. And somebody needs to explain how this is. The victory paid him $35,000. That's 35, comma, 3 zeros. In a special race at the Orange County Fair Speedway on dirt. That did not include the lap money. And I believe of the 200 laps, he led something like 69 of them. So I don't know if it's like $20 a lap or 10 or 20, 15, 5. I don't know, but I do know that he probably walked out of it with $40,000. And when I see stuff like that, I've got to wonder, why are the local tracks that race NASCAR not getting better payoffs? I know a good portion of the money comes from sponsorship. I know a piece of the money probably comes from ticket sales. But when you look at that, I mean, you take a NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour event that's run at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway or Bristol Motor Speedway, and they get anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 for the win. Now, I don't know what taking the green paid, because there's always, what does it take the green? What is that? I don't know what that paid out. It wasn't published. But man, that's a nice payday. And Brett Hearn with over 900 victories in his career. The guy does this for a living. The guy does this for a living. That's all good. It's all good. And it's funny. I remember back in, I think it was 96 or 98. I'm not sure, probably 98. We went up to what was then known as the White Lake Speedway, now Bethel Motor Speedway. And the race that we loaded up and let's go. 2,000 to win. That was a lot of money. And our guys, we're used to getting 400 or 500 for a win. What the heck? We'll go up there. We'll spank them, take their money, and go home. And I remember I put up money for because there was guys from all over the whole East Coast and the Midwest. I put up money out of my pocket for this race that was the first Long Island guy across the line, whether he won or he finished 19th. If that was the first Long Island guy, I put up $100. Not a lot of money. Walking around the pit area, guys were shaking my hands. People were patting me on the back. At the drivers' meeting, the chief steward and the race promoter brought me up on the stage, on the thing that they stand on to have drivers meeting, to introduce me and to tell these drivers, make sure you thank me. I decided to go in the grandstands, watch the race. Let me go and watch the race. The announcer picks me out and tells everybody to clap because I put money into the purse. And I'm like, it's $100. And I'm thinking, maybe they think I'm giving them 1,000. I don't know. So anyway, the race comes up. A Long Island guy finishes fourth, so he's the top guy. So I get called, I get announced over this thing, report to the payoff window. They don't know who's from Long Island. So when that Long Island comes, I have to take my 100, put it in an envelope, and hand it to that person. So that person comes up and, okay, you're fourth, here's your money. And he got a thick envelope. I'm talking thick, like this. It was like my daughter's cell phone bill when it comes to the mail. It was a thick envelope. So I did my job. I go walking back. The guy goes to his car and he says, we must have got, it's got to be about $1,000 in here. He opens the envelope and it was $65 it was 50 singles, a 10 and a 5. The guy who finished 5th got like $50. The late Kenny Hyde finished like 7th. He got 30. He went back to there screaming that, that wasn't even enough to get across the bridge to go home. And that sometimes does happen when you see big races to win, 30,000 to win, 10,000 to win, and the second place guy gets like 100. So, I mean, still 35,000 for, I don't know what's second paid. I'm going to find out. I have some contacts up there. I'm going to find out what second paid so I can tell you guys. Nobody called me back today when I inquired about it, but that's purse payouts. So many race car drivers at Race Weekly, they got to tell you, I'm not here for the money. Okay, so if you're really not here for the money, why don't you not take your payoff every week, whether it's 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, and at the end of the year, have the racetrack donate it to a charity. You're not there for the money. You're there to just have a good time. Yeah, okay, let's see how many guys would do that. But I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. It's only money. It's only money. Oh, man, anyway. But, when you look at some of these purses that are paid out in these other series, the World of Outlaws, DIRT, also known as DIRT, the payoffs that these teams walk away with. I can remember when I was at ASI Racewear selling race equipment and shirts and fire suits and hats and all kinds of anything we could screen print or embroider. One of the drivers, and he was always, every week, he was always ordering. It was like a standing order. I need 144 shirts. And we gave him a real nice price. Real nice price. And he'd hang up a couple of shirts in his trailer, and he would sell them for 20 bucks. Now, think about this now. He has 144 shirts. He sells them for 20 bucks a piece. And that's $2,800. It's almost $2,900. And if he sells out, he made enough money to cover his expenses, and he's good to go. And that's what a lot of teams are doing. A lot of teams are doing it. And, I don't know. It's just one of those things when you look at that. And, it's funny, I've got somebody talking about the chat room. Yeah, it is kind of quiet in the chat room. There's only a couple of people. I know 22 Figure 8 is stuck at work. But anyway, let's see. What are they saying? Yeah, it's funny, and that they mentioned that, back in the WJ days, he was always the first guy on it, and always the first guy got it. Now the other person is winning, and she's usually the first person on it. Then anytime she's not on, it's because she's got stuck at work. But when you look at the people who view it, and I'll tell you what, I go to our page at 505, our racing page, and I look at the likes. We've gotten more likes, I think, in the last month than we've got probably in the last 6 months. A lot of new people catching on. We have people that are watching our show all over the United States. There's even a viewer that's in Australia, and I think I know who it is. It's a race car driver that I used to sell shirts to. But it's funny how so many people watch the show during the week now because Mondays just don't work out for them. Mondays just don't work out. But anyway, it's all good, and I appreciate the feedback, and that's good to know. But yeah, I mean, the chat room, and as many of you know, I feed off the chat room, what's in there, and I say stuff, and you guys sometimes, I'll look up and I'll crack a smile because somebody said something that cracks me up. Or sometimes I'll look up at it and see something that from somebody who, and I'm not going to say the name, but I will say the incident where he started bashing NASCAR and bashing his local racetrack, and I got so upset that the control room blocked him out, so I couldn't see it. But anyway, it's what we do here. And everybody's entitled to an opinion, and everybody's entitled to have their feelings about a racetrack or something that goes on. Like I said, those people were all upset about the black flag rule. And that happens, and that's okay. You can be upset, but know the rules. Before you start throwing stuff out there, know the rule. And somebody was unsure of the rule, and that's why they posted explain the black flag rule to me, is what they asked. And once it was explained, it kind of stopped. All the nonsense stopped, but it's also at the discretion of the officials in charge. And I can remember seeing an incident where, or being involved with an incident where a spotter for a team sent a crew member to tell me that XYZ car was spraying oil or fluid and it was all over their windshield. Okay, so who's it coming from? Oh, the guy in front of him, obviously. Oh, maybe not. It could be 2 people in front of him. It could be from 3 cars ahead, and the way the wind is going, and it's going up over those lanes. So unless we see it pouring out, we're not going to make that call. We're not going to say, black flag to 17 because of leaking. Because the first thing that guy's going to do, he's going to pull on the infield, and he's going to get out of his car, and he's going to look for drips. And there's nothing more embarrassing than not having drips underneath your race car when you just got black flagged for the leakage, or whether it's water or oil. And sometimes smoke. People, black, that guy's leaking, he's smoking. Sometimes that's tire rub. Yeah, can the tire rub blow the tire and cause a wreck? It could. Is it going to? I don't know. I've seen guys race 50 laps with a little bit of tire smoke and nothing's happened to them. That tire held up. But even then, you don't want to black flag somebody unless the smoke is causing a disturbance where other competitors, their vision is not good because there's too much smoke. Yeah, then you have no choice. But as I said in that little chat going back and forth on social media, as an official, you have to make decisions based on a lot of things, and one of them is safety. And a lot of people get real upset. You black flag my car, and they're right away. What about this guy? What about 17 weeks ago? What about last year? That it's over. That race is over. Can't change that. We're talking about this race, and there's a race that comes to mind. That was a Charger race here on Long Island with Dave Brigatti, and Dave Brigatti. It was a 50-lapper, if I'm not mistaken, and Dave Brigatti had the lead for like most of the race. Midway through the race, I started seeing sparks coming up from his right rear tire, and it just got bigger and bigger. Now, I'm going to add to this is that Dave Brigatti's primary sponsor was sponsoring the night at the racetrack. The night, all the divisions. So, knowing how the promoters and owners were, I had to be careful. I had to be careful how I handled this. So what I did is I went to the other channel on radio. I notified the promoters of my situation. All they did tell me was keep an eye on it. Now there's like 10 to go, and the sparks are really bad. I mean bad. Now it's 5 to go, and I see the right rear doing this. Now what do? He's leading the race. My concern was that wheel was going to come off. He was going to wreck, possibly get injured, take out a bunch of other cars, and that wheel and axle was going to go flying into the grandstand and either hurt somebody bad or hurt somebody permanent. So I had to wave the black hanky, black flag that car. You would have thought what I did. Dave, being a professional, consummate gentleman, when the race was over, he wasn't happy, but he sat down. There's a block, there was like a cement barrier that we sat on, we talked, and I said, Dave, you could hate me all you want. I made that decision based on safety. And he goes, but 5 more laps? You couldn't get? No, I couldn't, because I don't know what I would have done if something would have happened. And you could hate me tonight, you could hate me next week, but you know what? At least next week you'll be able to walk in the gate and say, hey, Joe, how you doing? You could curse me out next week, do whatever you want. But nobody got hurt. His sponsor was threatening to pull his sponsorship from the racetrack forever. And it's just one of those things that you have to make decisions. You just have to do this. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, what are we saying here? Never mind. Anyway, so moving on with that, understand that an official has to make a decision based on the moment, based on the situation, based on past experience, And sometimes it's going to go your way, and sometimes it's not. And that's what you have to understand. And if you don't understand that, my apologies. Get involved with a team, get involved with a racetrack, and you'll see that your thought process will change. It really will. Anyway, when we come back, we'll talk about some of the stuff going on in the Monster Energy Cup NASCAR Series and the Xfinity Series. Some of the changes and things going on when we come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Spooky Walk at Camp Aquatic, Friday and Saturday, October 20th and 21st, 27th and 28th. Located on Montauk Highway between Center Moriches and East Moriches. $20 per person. All proceeds benefit the camp. Take the LIE to 69S or Sunrise Highway to 59S. Go to the end and turn right. Go to Montauk Highway and turn left. Spooky Walk brought to you by the Moriches Bay Squads. Go to SpookyWalk.com for more info.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Village Music Shop of Master. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey, welcome back. Anyway, Stuart Haas Racing and Biaggi Denbesti Racing are teaming up for the 2018 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. The 0-0 will continue with Rookie of the Year candidate Cole Custer. The 41 driven now in limited races with Kevin Harvick in 2017 will become the 98 in 2018. So a lot of stuff going on at Stuart Haas, and still no official announcement that Eric Almirola will be driving for them, although it seems like everybody else knows that except for Stuart Haas. But anyway, and speaking of stuff going on, Spooky Walk at Camp Pawcatuck, Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th. It's $20 per person at the gate. All proceeds to benefit the camp for special needs children and adults. Located on Montauk Highway between Center Moriches and East Moriches. To get there, you take the Long Island Expressway to exit 69 South or the Sunrise Highway to exit 59 South. Go to the end, turn right to Montauk Highway and make a left. Brought to you by the Moriches Bay Squaws. So one more weekend of Spooky Walk at Camp Pawcatuck. Anyway, the Xfinity Series was at the Kansas Raceway in Kansas, and Justin Allgaier was the winner there, followed by William Byron. Elliott Sadler was third, Brennan Poole was fourth, Matt Tifft fifth, Ryan Reed sixth, Daniel Hemrick seventh, Cole Custer was eighth, Brendan Gaughan ninth, and Michael Annett rounding out the top 10. Their standings in the playoffs go like this. There's 8 teams left. Justin Allgaier is the top the points, followed by William Byron, Elliott Sadler third in points, Brennan Poole fourth, Matt Tibbs fifth, Ryan Reed, followed by Daniel Hemrick and Cole Custer. Out of the playoff picture is Brennan Gaughan, Michael Annette, Jeremy Clements, and Blake Koch. Their next event will be at the Texas Motor Speedway on November 4th. Oh, yes. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series was at Kansas for the final race in round 12. Mont Truex Jr. was the winner there, followed by Kyle Busch. Ryan Blaney was third, Chase Elliott fourth, Denny Hamlin, nope, sorry, I got that wrong, my fault. I don't have those finishes. Here it is, oh, I do, never mind. Martin Truex is the winner there, sorry, folks. Kurt Busch was second, followed by Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Chris Buescher fifth, Dale Earnhardt Jr. sixth, Kevin Harvick eighth, Eric Almirola ninth, and Kyle Busch rounding out the top 10. The season standings as we see them at the end of round 12. Truex is sitting atop, followed by Kyle Busch. Brad Keselowski is third. Kevin Harvick fourth in the points. Jimmy Johnson, after having some difficulty in the race, made it in. He's fifth in the points. Denny Hamlin sixth. Ryan Blaney seventh. Chase Elliott gets the last spot. Out of the playoffs are Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Jamie McMurray. There are 5 races left. 4 more will be eliminated after race 4. The final champion will be decided at the last race at Homestead in Florida. Some issues came up in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race with Matt Kenseth being DQ'd. A lot of people are like, what's going on? Executive Vice President and Chief Racing Development Officer Steve O'Donnell explains Kenseth's DQ, saying on Sirius FM radio, too many people were over the wall, 7 to be exact. You're only allowed 6. According to the rule book that went into place in 2017 with this all new automated pit road officiating, if you have too many men over the wall, you'll be disqualified. Whoa, that's serious. And as Steve O'Donnell went on to say, that's a serious infraction, and you want to use the safety. You know, if there's too many people over, somebody gets hurt, they got to control that. Okay, so make it a 1-lap penalty, a 2-lap penalty. There are more serious infractions that go on in a NASCAR Cup Series event than too many men over the wall, that the penalty sometimes is just a drive through, a stop and go. And this one I love, tail end of the longest line. That rule, tail end of the longest line, that penalty I should say, was put in place for back in the day when lead lap cars on the outside, lap cars on the inside. So whichever line was longer, your penalty was that spot. Now, with double file restarts, pass-through cars, lucky dog cars, cars that get the drive around, the most you're gonna have is one position different. The tail end of the longest line, if there's an odd number of cars left on the track, the tail end of the longest line is you go behind that guy or that driver. So, and I say to people, you know what? You're going to be in the back of the pack anyway, and if you're going to be in the tail end of the longest line, it's only going to be a difference of 1 spot or 2. So take that pitting when the pit road's closed. Now that's a penalty that should be, you're DQ'd. If pit road is closed, it's closed for a reason. It could be a safety issue. It could be people, you know, an accident was there and they're cleaning up. There could be oil, whatever the case is, and you got somebody flying down pit road at 55 miles an hour, which is normally the pit road speed on some of the larger tracks, that person could injure somebody because I've worked pit road, and you're standing there, and if you don't expect somebody to come down, you could be run over. And even with the caution car, when they take it around and they shut the lights off at the start-finish line, means you're going green next time, the tower gets on the radio when the caution car's in turn 3. Be alert, pit road, caution car's coming. And you knew to step back. But if you don't know they're coming, then that's worry. That's a problem. So that should be, in my opinion, that should be a DQ, not a guy. And I watched the video. I watched the guy was sitting on the wall, so he's not over it yet. And the left front tire changer was struggling with the tire because it was stuck in the sheet metal. Instinctively, he jumped, lifted the sheet metal, and went back. Hey, he shouldn't have done that. I agree. But to be DQ'd for that, and Matt Kenseth was not a happy camper when he pulled into their garage with that. He was not a happy person, and that's something that needs to be looked at. And I don't mean to. Not that I don't mean to. I don't want it to sound like it's a NASCAR bash, because it's not. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's not going to be that. It's just these are rules, and some of these rules need to be reviewed and need to be looked at, especially if you're going to officiate. If you're going to officiate from a trailer and a TV monitor and a computer, know what's happening. And yeah, I worked pit road in a lot of series, and I know some things that I would hold the car for. Maybe the guy on either side of me, the guy wouldn't. And failure to control the tire. If the tire is bouncing around on pit road after they change it, you're supposed to hold them. If they're pitting out of the box, you're supposed to stop them and wave them back and start. And it's funny, I got not in trouble, but I got questioned at a racetrack. Now, a little, I don't want to say history, but a little background info. We're at a racetrack where the pit stalls are 10 feet long. But the width of the pit stall is only 7. So what does that come to? Well, 7 feet is 84 inches. From outside right wheels to outside left wheels, it's 83 to 85 inches. Now, if the tires are outside the box, technically they pitted out of the box. So let's say you have to change the inside tires. You can't get a person and a jack between the car and the wall. So, make a short story long, car pits, the wheels are outside the box, they have the jack on an angle because there's no room for the handle to go up and down because of the wall. I get a call from the tower, Joe, that car is pitting out of the box, and you see that? And I says, there's not enough room. Mr. Joe, the rule is don't pit out of the box. Okay. All right, whatever, so I have to hold them. I look up and down pit road, every pit's everybody else in the same position, but it's not being called. Well, after the race, I got called into the hauler. We had to talk about it, and I says, if you'd like, we can go out and measure it. The cars are 85 inches wide. The pit box is 84 inches wide. Every car that pits is going to be out of the box. So they come out with me. I measure it. They apologize. We didn't know. We'll talk to the track. And to this day, that track has not changed that. I'm not going to say which track it is because it doesn't make a difference. But those are the things that you look for and look at when you're an official, and you have no choice in the matter. You just have to do those things. You just have to do those things, and and I kind of worry. I kind of worry when I see some of these rules that were written in the 60s and the 70s that don't make sense anymore, and somebody needs to take a look at that. Yeah, it's a lot safer to have in the top series the officials officiate from a trailer off a pit road and look at monitors. Absolutely. I've seen people hit. I've seen on pit road. I've seen broken legs, broken ankles, broken feet. I was hit on pit road. Thank goodness I didn't get hurt. Because you're right there. You're out of the box and you're on the pit road, and and when the spotter tells the driver 2 pit spots, we go, go, and he goes, He's just looking to make sure nobody's on his outside. He's not looking to see if an official's standing there. I mean, I wasn't hit hard, but I had a wheel mark on my behind when I got my fire suit off. And those are the things. It's the little things in the rules. Yeah, let's have somebody go through tech 17 times and miss practice because something's off by 1/32nd of an inch. But let's not take a look at the tail end of the longest line rule. Let's not take a look at coming over pit road. And there are times when you could request an extra member on pit road, and that has to do with windshields. If you have a windshield problem, sometimes you're allowed to do that. But you have to ask permission, and you have to ask permission prior to doing it. You can't ask permission before, obviously. Or after, I should say. But those are the things that I look at, and again, the weekly racing series racetracks do follow the NASCAR rules to a point. But they still have the right to make their own rules up. And, some track, you got 2 laps, you black flag, get off, and it's written that way. But technically, you get black flagged, it's then. You don't, according to the NASCAR rule book, you don't have 2 laps, And so many drivers, I go to some of the weekly tracks, and they think that, I got 2 laps, I got 2 laps. What are you going to gain in 2 laps? You're still going to finish, if there's 18 cars left, the worst you're going to be is 18th. And if you're on the lead lap and 4 are lapped, you're going to finish 14th. What are you going to gain in 2 laps? Well, in this case, Keith Rocco gained enough spots because teams dropped out. They dropped out, and boom, they were done. You pass those cars, because now you've done more laps than them, it's all good. But these are the rules that need to be looked at, and there should be at least in the NASCAR racing series, the NASCAR All-American Series, racing series, there should be unified rules for these cars and the tech and procedural, so that when a competitor doesn't like something that happened is based on a rule and they call down to headquarters to voice a concern, that NASCAR doesn't have to call that track and say, what is your rule on this? It should be the NASCAR rule. You have a NASCAR sanctioning body, and you should follow the NASCAR rules. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, we'll wrap it up for tonight's race talk when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8, Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Well. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, we're going to punch in the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Back. Anyway, so coming to the end of most of the races, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series will go into I believe the weekend before Thanksgiving, as well as the other 2 series as well, Xfinity and Campbell World Truck Series. Campbell World Truck Series, they have another week off, and they will be at the Martinsville Speedway in 2 weeks. But when you look at what's going on now, all the big races, I call them the special event races that are going on. You had just this past weekend, you had the King of the Green at the former Mountain Speedway. Mahoney Valley is going to have a big race coming up. You have the Turkey Derby at the Wall Township Speedway, and then there's the North-South Shootout in November down at Concord. So there's still a lot of racing going on as we move forward. And a lot of the people, and I saw again for the first time ever on social media, where a racetrack asked its fans on social media, what would they like to see in 2018? Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible, because I think a lot of the racetracks are realizing what we're doing now is not working. We have to do something different. And except for the couple of wise guys and I call the idiots who posted crazy stuff of what they should do, I'm glad they immediately, as soon as they could, deleted that stuff. But anyway, don't be afraid to contact your local track and in an intelligent, professional way. Tell them what you'd like to see. Send them an email. Go on their pages on social media. Tell them what you'd like to see. And don't think they don't pay attention to that stuff. They do. What they don't pay attention to is the negativity. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for being a part of tonight's show. And wherever your endeavors will bring you this upcoming weekend, I ask you to be safe, be careful, give somebody a hug, tell them you love them. God bless you all, and we will see you next Monday night. Good night, folks.